Hello everyone, welcome to the audio commentary for my Metal Gear Solid Integral All Bosses Tool Assisted Speedrun. With me is the Metal Gear Solid Glitch Fighter Extraordinaire, magnum66.
Hello, good to be here.
So, in typical Canadian fashion, I have to start off this commentary with an apology. First of all, I gotta apologize to Spike Stuff. If this does get published, I'm probably going to be out before the 80% TAS, just because I try to be cool and put in text commentary for the 80% TAS, and I kind of goofed. I set up text commentary that looked really cool for like on-screen display, but apparently it doesn't look all that great for arranging it in subtitles, and you basically had to rebuild everything from scratch. So yeah, this is my on-air apology to Spike Stuff. I've already apologized several times to him in chat, but this is now official to everyone else. Spike Stuff, I'm really sorry, mate. It's just I didn't really know what I was doing. I should have paid more attention. So my other apology is that if you've seen the 80% TAS, this may look familiar. I really wanted another play around, but it actually turned out that for whatever reason, when I tried making a separate play around, it actually made it change the helipad a bit. Still don't know why, but I just couldn't get the same input to work. So, man, how long have you been glitching this game?
Oh god. I think the whole final thing was over by late 2012, 2013, if I remember correctly. And I started we were at it for at least a bit over a year. And I was putting in work with other stuff at least a year prior to that. So close to 2 years I probably put into glitching this game.
Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy ride to get everything. I mean, that was the first one you found was that the Vulcan Raven out of bounds. Which,
that was the very first official out of bounds glitch, yes.
Yeah, I'm still really kind of disappointed I wasn't able to replicate that, because apparently whatever exploit was part of that was patched in Integral.
Yeah, the form of ledge clipping where kind of a ledge slope. Anytime there's a weird awkward slope like that in the game, it doesn't really want you to like exactly lay on top of it for whatever reason, so it'll push you to either side of the game where it wants to force you out to, and if you're kind of crawling the opposite way of a ledge, then it will push you through the ledge and out of certain level you're in.
Okay, so there you probably noticed that I actually ended my kick a little earlier. That's something called X canceling. You can cancel out of any punch of the 3-punch combo just by pressing X early. Although it does not work on Liquid Snake for whatever reason. They use a different control scheme entirely, and I don't know why it just doesn't work on Liquid. It's also compared to both my 2012 All Bosses TAS and the 2013 90% TAS, the loading times are much closer to an actual PlayStation compared to the previous TASs, which had loading times closer to a fastest speed PlayStation 2. So with that handicap, I actually saved a lot more time compared to the other TASs than it may seem.
I'm sure they're saying something very important there.
Yeah, it was just going right after. So this is the only optional alert I take in the game. You start out, I think it's 3 alerts. The game forces you into combat 7 times, if I remember correctly, but I think it only counts 3 of them. 1 in Disc 1 and 2 of them in Disc 2. And this is the 4th alert. In order to get Big Boss rank, you need to have a maximum of 4 alerts. So that's the 4th one. Hi, Liquid.
You mean Miller?
Oh, yeah, Liquid.
We're only how many minutes into this? 4 minutes, and you're already screwing up.
Yeah. Alright. Anyway, so there is also a slight improvement here. Integral has much more precise analog controls, and also the fact that I can use them at all, compared to previous emulators. So I still use the previous strategy of throwing a chaff grenade, compared to my previous TAS. However, it's a much more precise throw this time, so I don't actually have to change direction while throwing it. I found an angle where I could actually throw it, and it would distract the guard in such a way that I could still keep moving towards the door, like so. I think I also mentioned that in my text commentary for 20%. So you may have noticed that the elevator didn't actually open instantly there. As it turns out, both the fastest and the second fastest door opening times are actually identical, because by the time Snake gets there, the elevator would have opened already. Alright, so now input actually changes, now that we're no longer doing the vent glitch. I mean, we are doing the vent glitch later, but just not for skipping bosses.
We are technically in a vent right now.
Yeah, just not glitching it.
Yes.
So
we're behaving.
We're behaving ourselves. Vents are probably the worst part for TASing. Just because I wasn't able to find a speed value in the memory addresses. I found quite a few memory addresses, but nothing for speed. So pretty much anything I had for trying to optimize this area was all trial and error. And even with analog, it's all still a little 8-direction movement. So there's no way to really optimize it any further than this. It's so annoying. Thank God there's only 2 vents that you're required to go through in all bosses. So I speed entertainment trade off there, using vent glitch to go on the bed. Actually causes a couple lag frames, but it's worth it because I thought it looked cool. That is called the infinite combo, where you only do the first 2 punches and then wait a couple of frames to wait for his combo to reset before you do it again. That's actually a glitch that carried over to Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and for the boss against Ocelot 4. Alright, so kill management in Meryl is very important. Although I'm actually using a sawed-off FAMAS here, as you can tell by the rate of fire. Basically, we want 18 kills by the time we fight Metal Gear Rex, in order to get the maximum 25 kills that the game accepts for a big boss fight. So basically, I'm luck manipulating Meryl into killing most of the enemies for me. I think I end up with 12 kills by the end of this fight, if my memory serves correctly. It's been a while since I've done this part. Yeah, this task took a while. Between all the restarts and everything else, this took a little under a year. Between both, because I did this and the 80% TAS at the same time, so that was quite a challenge. So there we go. We just tricked a teenage girl into murdering a bunch of men. This is our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how you're only allowed around 25 kills, and already half of that is used up in just the first fight of the game.
Yeah. I mean, technically you could get away with just 3, but that's much slower.
Yes, true.
So there again, I mean, yeah, by the time Snake walks over to that elevator, it's already open. So sometimes you can save a few frames just by getting the second fastest elevator animation. You don't necessarily have to have it open immediately if it means, saving a few frames on luck manipulation. So we grab the C4 over here, and it's faster to grab grenades now than it is to wait till after Ocelot for the tank. And there I canceled the punching animation by unequipping and re-equipping the C4. There's a lot of unequipping and re-equipping tactics, and some of them were actually intentional on the game's part, and some of them are not. It all depends. Now we got Ocelot. Have you seen this new Ocelot strategy? I don't remember.
I believe I have.
Okay, well, yeah. So this first part is standard tactics. It's a stun lock, where if you shoot him just as he has draw, he puts him into a stun lock where the most accurate man in the Metal Gear universe cannot hit you to save his life. And now we're going to throw a grenade right at the man that's tied up to explosives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a one frame window in that particular grenade throw. The only thing blocking the grenade from actually hitting Baker there was that single concrete pillar. If I'd thrown that maybe 1 degree over, he would have blown up.
Currently, we're going through something nuclear warheads.
Yeah. It's And the guy dies anyway, but we don't want to die too early.
Well, everybody dies. Eventually. In life.
Just not in this game.
Yes.
So you may remember in the 2012 TAS we had to call Meryl. Not so. Not anymore.
Not happening. So
Oh,
you
okay.
people out there, if you want to start running all bosses, you can
Yeah.
throw that this cover away. You don't need to know Meryl's codec.
Nope. So right there, that's called a throw cancel. Again, it's just equipping and not equipping your items while you're doing the throw animation. And I just need to keep this open to make sure the call doesn't drop out. So this uses the same vent glitch that we normally use to skip all of disc 1 at any, or most of disc 1 at any %. And in this case, we just use it to skip having to call Meryl. Saves about, I think it saves 50 seconds optimally, 55 seconds.
Yeah, I remember
Consider it, yeah.
I've timed it in the past, and it was roughly around 50-ish seconds.
Yeah, I think it saves 50, yeah, something like that when you. I seem to remember that when you factor in an optimal codec conversation with Meryl. Anyway, we also no longer throw a chaff to disable the aiming system here, because we could use that little bit of cover over there to block ourselves from the cannon's throw, and a much better cooked grenade throw to get rid of the first gunner. It is not a guaranteed throw or guaranteed one-hit kill on the gunner. You have to actually aim very properly into the open hatch just to make sure that that you can get a one-hit kill. It is possible. Usually, you don't get the critical hit, and you have to use 4 grenades instead of 2.
Okay, yeah, I just looked it up, and that vent strat to skip the whole Meryl codex is 52 seconds.
Nice. Okay.
So we were right.
Yeah. Is that that's with a perfectly optimal Meryl conversation?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Close to optimal, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's another thing with loading is that pretty much everything is affected by the faster loading, including just opening the codec screen and the transition in between the codec ringing and everything else. Also, I don't know if you've seen the new cycle strategy that I have for the Nuke storage building, but it doesn't work on this pass because you have to stop for you have to stop for the codec as well as different enemy placement. But when you backtrack, there's I think it's 15 seconds per cycle, but you'll see it later. Okay, so we're going to grab the Nikita and get out of here. And so I bet you didn't know something, but Solid Snake is actually immune to electricity. It's a little known fact. It's not even in the Metal Gear Wiki, but I'm here to prove to you that Solid Snake is immune to electricity.
I'm here to witness.
But first, we got a call from our #1 fan. Very shy. He doesn't want to show his face. Look, he's clearly standing on the electrical panel. He has a little bit of riding in him, I guess. So yeah, those are perfectly optimized angles that take us straight to the box that turns off the electrical fence. So I don't know why he bothers, because clearly he's immune to electricity.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why did you even have to take that panel out then?
I guess he just, he wants to play fair. He figures that he showed off his power, and figures just wants to go with the game as planned.
Solid reasoning.
Or liquid reasoning, or solid is.
Yes.
Alright, so Gray Fox. Gray Fox has a couple of interesting tricks to him. Mostly it's identical to how it was in the 2012 TAS, but there is one pretty interesting technique I found that speeds up the boss fight a little bit. Actually, there's 2 of them. One of them is a very small trick, but the other one's actually pretty cool. So, just for those who haven't really been catching up with the progress here, Magnum has seen good chunks of this run, but he has not seen it from start to finish.
Yeah, I remember when I saw the first guard fight with Meryl, the parts of the Ocelot, because I knew the grenade strat, and chunks here and there, but I don't know absolutely everything, so some things will be completely new as I see them.
So you may wonder why we're not using the infinite combo on Gray Fox, and the reason for that is because, unlike Liquid Snake, Gray Fox starts his invincibility frames as soon as you break a combo at all. Like, he starts retreating immediately. Also, I briefly unequipped my weapons there, just because otherwise I'll just stand there and say, "What are you doing? You have a weapon out," and I want him to charge from it. There we go, that's the trick. When he does his pounce attack, you could punch him out of the air. There is a 1-frame window for that. Actually, it's 2 frames because it's like one in-game tick. This game runs at 30 frames a second, and it's like frames versus ticks is always kind of hard to describe, but it's basically for all intents and purposes it's a 1-frame window. So there we go. That's phase 2.
It's basically something you should not be trying at home.
Yeah, don't try it at home, folks. You will get bodied, especially on extreme. That stomp attack takes away like 9% of your health. So this is pretty standard luck manipulation right here. And yeah, this is all luck manipulation. It all depends on what frame you start punching Gray Fox. So here, I actually don't want to stand too close to Gray Fox, because if you stand too close to him, he will immediately teleport behind you. The whole point of this phase, I know it's not really like immediately obvious, but the whole point is that he starts to like slowly walk towards you and then teleport behind you. And also he has these little monologues, which are a convenient time to pick up the items around you. Yeah, I mean, I actually don't know the RTA strat for this. Do you remember it all? Or?
The what strat?
The RTA strat.
At the moment, no, I actually don't remember myself.
Alright, so here's the other small time saver. Normally you're expected to shoot Gray Fox during this part where he goes crazy, but you can throw grenades! And it saves having to go into the menu and pull out the pistol. And we only need like 2 grenades for the rest of the run, so...
True. How much does actually save, do you know?
It saves 30 frames, I think.
Worth it.
Yeah, absolutely worth it. Oh god, my audio just spiked. I'm gonna have to clean that up later. My apologies to either my future self or FSBGM, whoever has to clean that up.
Quite the explosive end to Gray Fox.
Yes. Or Grenade Fox, as the case may be.
Yes, Grenade Fox.
Alrighty. Oh, okay. There we go. Yep, I knew I needed to keep the multi open for a reason. There. Yeah, apparently it's in like 20-minute chunks, so gotta keep one eye on the mouse there. Alright, so we're gonna skip all of those conversations with Otacon about
something nuclear warhead, something
anime.
Japanese culture, anime.
Yeah, lots of Japanimes.
Words.
And,
oh yeah, we're now talking to a woman we've never met, by the way.
Well, no, we did meet her. We had that whole fight.
Oh, true. I'm used to not having that fight. You're right. My apologies.
Yeah.
We kind of met her. We never called her back, and then we're just talking to her again. Sorry. The storyline's different. We're in a different timeline.
Yeah. So those corpses have very strange hitboxes. I remember from having optimized that. And like when you're going down that corridor, there was like a 2-frame time save that was very strange to get. I remember. So we're gonna grab stun grenades over here. The use for that will become obvious a little later on. So here's the other big route change. We're going to alert Meryl and grab a cardboard box. The use for the box will become a little obvious after Psycho Mantis.
Before the need of the box, wouldn't we just like make it halfway through the room, shoot to alert her sooner, and then I thought so. Yeah,
because that is the fastest way to alert her normally is to get that pistol out and shoot.
But the box is very important.
It is extremely important.
I know this place better than you.
As boxes normally are.
Yeah.
Follow me. That's strange. There's no guard.
So One weird thing I remember about Mantis is that Meryl gets health upgrades after Psycho Mantis, which always seems strange considering that, there's really no need for it. It's not like Emma in MGS2 where she's in any danger at all.
So Meryl gets a health upgrade?
Meryl gets a health upgrade after Mantis.
I actually did not know that.
Watch after Mantis. It's she totally gets a health upgrade after.
All these years I've never noticed that.
It just occurred to me, like, when I was streaming this on my Twitch channel during the world premiere TAS. Okay, so here I take a specific path. So there's a step counter for Meryl for triggering the next cutscene, and I take a specific path here so that when her step counter runs out, she's right at the spot where she would normally have to be for the next cutscene. She's right there. She doesn't have to move at all. Normally she has to walk all the way to that area of the room.
Yeah.
And then I throw a stun grenade, and then just for fun, give her a nice hug, and then she just stands up just to lie down again. And now we have Psycho Mantis, who is normally a very interesting boss fight, but now he's even more interesting because you can actually sort of pull him out of thin air when he's teleporting by using run and gun, like that. Normally, he doesn't have a tangible hitbox when he's teleporting, but it's apparently he does, but the game just sort of cheats it by removing the ability to use your lock-on when he's teleporting. So if you just know where he's going while you're running gunning, you could actually follow his path and just shoot him as soon as his invincibility runs out. Which I don't think that strat is RTA viable at all, but it's pretty cool. Alright, so this is really complicated to explain. Please read my submission comments because I can't really explain this trick unless Magnum can.
No, it is one of those things that's always mystified me myself.
I've never just trust us on this. It works.
I've never fully understood how his life bar works in this fight.
I actually figured it out, but it's one of those things I can't really explain, like the 2 seconds it takes. So yeah, I explained it all in the submission comments. Oh no, her elbow was clipping through her forearm there. Unfortunately, I was really hoping that punching Mantis here would carry over to his normal health bar, but no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I just did it for swag, really. And I think it's about here. No, it's there. Double shot. I have no idea how that happened. I was not willing to try and go back to the fight to sort of experiment with it, but I'm just glad it happened. And of course, I consider it now a tradition to have Mantis fall into his chair at the end of the fight.
Have you ever gotten him to like almost sit fully up in it? Or
no, because his animation is the same regardless.
Yeah,
it's a script animation. It's not a ragdoll or anything. Okay, so watch Meryl's health bar. Watch, she got an upgrade.
That's so weird. I've never noticed that. So I imagine there's absolutely 100% no use for that because she just...
There's no use for it at all.
Yeah, you lose her to Wolf.
You lose her at Wolf. She doesn't become an NPC at all. There's no... It's not like Emma where you have to escort her past enemies. She never becomes like a guest party member again after she gets sniped. Alright, so here's why we use the cardboard box. This is another version of that trick, and then... Oh, look at that, we're out of bounds. This saves, I think, 5 seconds every time we do it.
To my knowledge, you can only clip that wall with a box. Yeah. It might.
I tried doing it.
You tried? Okay.
It doesn't work. Specifically because the box forces you into a ledgeless animation. The one disadvantage of using this trick is that we don't get to use the best trick in the game. And in the YouTube version of this commentary, I will provide an annotation link right now to the best trick in the game. I am so disappointed that I don't get to use it in the main run, but I will definitely link to it. I will not spoil it for those of you who don't click on the link, but it is a great trick. It saved 4 frames at the time, but anyway, so this part is very difficult. I spent about a month on it. I had to use luck manipulation, and I believe that the angles were all... I had to use like a calculus algorithm to determine the angles on this?
So, what do you think?
Like, I wanted to task this game myself, but this part right here pretty much put me off from trying it.
Yeah, this is also a big run killer for our TA guys as well.
Where the mines were placed.
This part right here, I mean, yeah, Liquid Snake is a total shove compared to this.
Only a
Mhm.
little?
Because, you know, it's so difficult just to hold forward.
Yeah. No, I can imagine anybody conceivably doing that consistently.
Definitely not. Wolf, what are you looking at? Put that away. Her eyes are up there.
So we got a life upgrade for an NPC that we no longer have now. She's gone.
Yep. Well, actually, no, now she's gone. She was
Oh,
there-
no, wait. She can actually die in that fight. I forgot.
Yeah, she could die, but she already has that existing
Yeah, true.
damage.
Yeah, she's lost health, so what's the point?
Yeah, but she already lost the pre-existing health from that cutscene.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Someone in the comments pointed out that it might be possible to vent glitch in that hole. I don't know, but I was at that point. It was too far. And
You can. I've tried it. You just get stuck in the wall and you can't get out.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing I didn't test it then, because if it had worked, I would have been really annoyed.
You get stuck.
Yeah. Okay. Well. All right. So now it's one of the more infamous pieces of backtracking in the game. Although this is supposed to be an homage to the quadruple backtrack that happens in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. Although, to be honest, I mean, the backtracking in this part is nowhere near as bad as it was in Metal Gear 2. Like, this is baby stuff compared to Metal Gear 2. Okay, so this is... I forget if I showed you the early cycle stuff, but this is basically... There's only... When you're backtracking forward through the nuke storage building... oh, by the way, spinning around there, it is faster for when you're backtracking here, but it's not faster when you first go through the nuke storage building.
Yes.
It's
There's that little scene where they
yeah,
force you
because
to
they
walk through.
kind of force you into the cutscene anyway. I think it's 15, 20 frames slower, something like that. It's like a very small amount slower, but it is slower. But every other time when you're backtracking, it ends up being a tiny bit faster. Also, that minefield, that outside minefield, is a total nightmare for tassing, because you got to get exact values. There are claymore mines in that area, for those of you who haven't played the game, so I have to sort of like put my angles to be just around the outside of where I would normally trigger them, and it is the worst. Okay, so this next section is on a timer, but I found a really awesome trick on this second guard right here. You are not supposed to be able to throw that guard at that angle. That is a frame perfect and angle perfect trick, and it ended up not meaning anything because I still have to wait for the guard on the right side because he can still see me. And there's no way to distract him properly while also throwing the guard. But it looked really cool. And I'm glad I found it, even if it ended up being useless. So now we have the PSG-1. Is it weird seeing the PSG-1 and not flashing red?
Oh, for me, yes. I see that thing flashing red in my sleep.
And now we get to cross the minefields without seeing the tank just standing there. Oh god, speaking of nightmares, I still have nightmares about this minefield. This was so incredibly tedious. Just getting, I mean, if you actually look at the input for this, just seeing all of these very slight angle adjustments I have to make is horrible. Okay, so here we go. This is the early cycle. It saves 15 seconds every time you do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've seen this.
Alright, well, if you haven't, we'll get a live reaction, so here you go. This is it. Here we go. Yoink. Yep, 15 seconds. You don't have to wait for the guy at the top of the stairs anymore. And it's about, I think there's about a half a second of margin of error for that. So it's very, very tight timing for RTA, given the length of time.
Oh yeah, for RTA that would be...
I still think Slade could do it.
Oh, no, for sure.
If he ever gets around to doing all bosses again. And now we're going to use the box. I am very glad that we actually found that the box out of bounds saves time in a TAS, because it means that between the two TASes, I only have to do the canyons properly once. When going forward, at least. And that once being in any percent. I did like experiment with ways of getting the bosses, but of getting the box in any percent, but it turned out to be, I think, 2 seconds slower to grab the box and do the out of bounds. So
Yeah.
I luck manipulated Wolf's position by burning frames when I was out of bounds, in order to get her into a position where she was already running. So I was able to snipe her instantly as soon as I walked into the room. And from here, it was just a matter of getting that extra ammo as quickly as possible so that I could snipe her as soon as I got it. And that's the fight. Oh no, that bloodstain. I hope it's not Meryl's blood.
Where's a fireplace around when you need it?
Or a muscle man with a Desert Eagle. Oh no.
Oh no.
Who could have seen this coming?
We were so close to that level 6 door, which we didn't even have the card for.
Yeah. It does seem a bit stupid in hindsight. I mean, why would Snake go for a door that he couldn't even open?
I like how DARPA is the only English thing coming out of that.
Well, there is like Kana at the top. That so shows you how to pronounce it. Also, there's that little... there's like a couple of frames slower at Integral. You see the boss, or the health bar appearing at the top there, right after the conversation. That's something that only happens on Integral. For whatever reason, it takes a couple extra frames to skip that cutscene, and your health bar appears for a tiny little bit there. And Solid Snake shows himself to be a total wuss and gives up on torture before he's even experienced it. And
in case you couldn't tell there, that was Snake actually trying to withstand torture, apparently.
yeah, he trying in massive quotation marks.
If you blinked, you missed it.
Yeah. And that's gonna get me at least one Mev vote at TAS videos, because I know Brushy's gonna get a Mev vote for me not saving Meryl. Apparently he would consider that a viable speed entertainment trade-off, even though it would cost like, what, 3 minutes to save Meryl?
I'm very sure Meryl would give up her life for the sake of speed.
But then if she gave up her life, how could she impress her father-uncle? Also, there's a little glitch where I show that you can actually get under the bed while still being, like, right next to it.
That's another thing I actually did not know.
It's pretty precise. There are, like, lots of little, like, frame-perfect, completely nonsensical things that don't actually do anything that I found in this game. And these codecs. So, think about codecs. If you didn't see the text commentary for my 80% TAS, codecs normally work under a 6-frame rule where you press one of the face buttons for 2 frames, wait 4 frames, and then press another 2 frames. Oh, that's going off. I'll just leave it. But then there are these portrait animations, which really screw with your timing. You cannot just use turbo like in something like, say, Twilight Princess, where you could just like mash turbo and just go A-B. But you have to actually time your your button presses properly in order to get the optimal codec presses. This is also the case for the MSX Metal Gear games, and Dunius, who's currently tasking Metal Gear 2, and myself have traded horror stories about how terrible it is to optimize the codec messages in our respective games. It really is. It really was like the worst part of TAS's game, even worse than the vents. Just because, actually no, the vents were worse, but codecs happened much more frequently. And also, yeah, did you see Johnny's gun clipped through the jail door as he was running off to go to the bathroom there?
Now imagine if...
Did you see that? Or
slight moment his gun clipped through, you could actually grab him.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
But no, you can't. Did you know about that gun clip, or?
Like, I believe I've seen it, but I might just be confusing it with something else. Like, it looks familiar.
Also, fun fact, Otacon voice actor who... Oh god, why am I completely blanking out on his name right now? He initially auditioned for Snake.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
That was pretty funny. Why am I completely blanking out on his name? He also voiced Huey. I feel so dumb now. What was his name? The Otacon's voice.
William Martin.
No, that's not. No, we're not talking about Johnny's voice. No, that's like his fake name, isn't it? But anyway, we're out of jail. Hold on, I gotta look this up. I feel so dumb now.
Christopher Randolph.
Yes, Christopher Randolph. That's it. Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Yeah, Christopher Randolph. All right, so this is a case where in this short room, optimizing the angle here actually doesn't save any time because the optimal frame for opening the elevator actually is kind of on a timer. So it actually doesn't matter like the best angle you get over there because it's going to be the same frame for opening the elevator. It's going to be the same regardless of what you do. When movement is that small. I mean, I try to be optimal anyway, but sometimes it doesn't matter. And still more backtracking, and we get the early cycle again, which I'm hoping that Slade will try for the early cycle because it seems like something that's right up his alley. The sort of high risk, high reward, because it saves a total of 30 seconds, which in all bosses is a pretty big time save.
What is the current all bosses record?
138, I think. It was from 2 years ago because the integral, Slade has the records for both integral and the USA PS1 all bosses records, and I think 138 is his time for all bosses, which means that it would probably be something like 135 if you were playing on integral.
Do you remember what the seconds were? If
no, not
that early
offhand.
cycle would push it down to 137? I imagine it would. I think it's a low 138.
Yeah, something like that. I don't want to open up my browser to screw over my recording equipment right now, but it's something like that. Yeah, it's in the 138. I think that Slade actually considers that USA All Bosses run to be one of the best runs he's ever done. So.
Oh, definitely.
I will also link to that in the YouTube version if you want to see it. It's a Twitch TV VOD. I think it's also on YouTube as well, but I will definitely link to that. And now we finally caught up to where the 80% would be at the 15-minute mark. So let's see. Yeah, this is where I basically put a moratorium on working on 80% up until I got to this point in all bosses because I wanted to make sure that I was able to work on them simultaneously and actually get the staircases relatively similar. So this is a pretty old trick. We're going to use the stun grenade to skip the cutscene where it shows the alarm being triggered just by triggering an alert a little earlier.
I can't remember exactly how much that saves.
5-6 seconds, something like that.
It seems like around that time.
Although that ended up being a little slower because I only had one stun grenade left because I had to use an extra one on Meryl for the second Mantis, or extra two on Meryl for the second Mantis fight. And this fight, the staircase in general is, I think it's 18 frames slower overall than 90% because we end up with less stun grenades, and much like with 80%, we still need 2 stun grenades for the stun lock on the walkway later on, which I'm pretty sure you've seen.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite TAS only tricks. I think is the stun lock, the walkway stun lock, just because of how crazily audacious it is. Speaking of the rappelling section earlier, I can't wait for to see like the ropeless rappel section TAS to Twin Snakes. That would be pretty crazy. Like, how far could you realistically drop down in the rappelling section without, and grab without dying? Yeah, I'm taking a break from the Metal Gear series for a while, just because I'm kind of burned out from it from, pretty much doing almost an entire year of nothing but this game.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to return to the series at some point. I just don't know when. And definitely not, in the near future.
When something new is found.
And I might try for a different game in the series. Maybe if once Dolphin becomes more stable and Twin Snakes, just because Twin Snakes at least cuts down on the backtracking for the hot and cold keys.
Is there a tool-assisted speedrun of Snake Eater?
No. There's one for the tanker in Sons of Liberty. That's about it.
Okay.
No one's bothered to the plant. So not a lot of people know that you could actually walk on the ledges, even the diagonal ledges. It actually saves time over rappel jumping down. Like that. Also, you could get stuck right there if you jump too soon. Although, it's not a soft lock, unlike what a lot of people seem to think. Because if you wait for Liquid's helicopter to come by and shoot you, he can shoot you out of it. So, for anyone who wants to RTA this game, if you get stuck in there, the run is not over, you just have to wait for Liquid to shoot you out of it.
Although if you get stuck in there with low health,
you're pretty screwed.
joke.
But if you have high enough health for Liquid to shoot you out of it, your run is not over. It's just you've lost seconds, but you haven't completely screwed. Anyway, that is a frame perfect stun lock where you need 2 stun grenades to get there, and you need to specifically time your stun grenades there in order to make sure that they stay in their stun lock animation. Because once they get up, they actually become immune to stun damage at all, so you have to time it in a very specific manner. That's definitely not RTA viable at all. Not even Slate could do that. So, these stairs, I got maybe a few questions about whether or not these stairs are optimal, but they are optimal. It looks stupid, but it's optimal. Because you gotta fight the controls, which try to readjust your angle based on the sun camera changes, and it's awkward. It's very, very awkward to...
Yeah, it does not look fun.
Yeah, it's very awkward to readjust the camera controls relative to where it is. Also, you have a 1-frame window to crouch going into this cutscene.
What about lay down? Can you lay down?
You can't.
Damn.
It's because it's only a 1-frame window to crouch at all, so you would need 2 frames to crouch and lie down.
True. Crouch and then, yeah.
I mean, you can crouch into that cutscene, but it's slower. You can crawl into that cutscene, but it's slower because you need to burn an extra couple of frames to crawl into it. And you can also kill yourself going into that cutscene, but the game overrides the cutscene. Much like when you kill yourself going into the captured cutscene. Which I think I have a video of in my bloopers reel. So again, this is optimal. It doesn't look it, but it's optimal. You gotta fight the control. Again, the controls try to auto-adjust for the sudden camera changes, and I mean most speedrunners just hold like down and left for this section, but I'm trying to like cut corners, and it's just doesn't always work.
From what you tried, did it seem there was any difference in difficulty from going upstairs compared to down, or were they about the same?
Going downstairs is so much easier.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I mean, it's both difficult, but going downstairs is a lot easier.
Out of context, that sounds pathetic, but when you're trying to optimally speedrun a game.
Yeah, I mean, most speedrunners don't even think about trying to optimize their stair movement because just so they. And I realized just as I was thinking about this that I probably should have showed off the vent glitch as I was doing this, but or the out of bounds stuff as I was doing this, but I missed my opportunity. Like maybe to go out of bounds during the fight and then I don't know. Have you ever gotten to a point where you can like go out of bounds like during liquid suicide attack and still win the fight?
I'm pretty sure I did that.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I was very frustrated at the time because I was having difficulty getting an optimal version of Liquid's second attack, which I knew there were a couple frames to save over my 2012 TAS, but I didn't think of it. Also, I decided not to use the Hind trap for this version of the TAS, just because I thought it looked more interesting if I didn't use the trap, because it does kind of look tedious if he just stands there. And I didn't lose any frames, so I just thought it looked more interesting this way. I mean, the novelty of the Hind trap kind of only works if you're using RTA anyway. Although that, I think, was a pretty neat trick shot, because the Hind fires slightly to the right, or the Stinger fires slightly to the right of Snake's hitbox when he's in first person, so even though I was hiding behind cover, I was still able to fire the Stinger shot properly, because it was to the right of me. Anyway. So that's the Hind taken care of. And I see I have some noise canceling I need to deal with, but that's something I gotta deal with later tonight, so that FSBGM doesn't kill me and I don't have to make another apology. I've already pissed off one encoder. I don't need to piss off another. Anyway, it's time for more climbing stairs. Are you ready for stairs climbing?
Well, stair descending.
Yes. Oh, and don't forget chaff throws. In RTA, the strategy is actually to use grenades to destroy the cameras, but you may remember that we used our grenades already on a certain cyborg ninja. So yes. That's not to mention. I mean, there's actually no time lost because you actually have to kind of go out of your way to throw, or you have to kind of go take an optimal angle, and a suboptimal angle to line up the grenades anyway. So it ends up being a little faster to use the chaff because I ended up with more chaff than I needed. All right, so here we go. Elevator fight. You ready for this?
We're ready.
And that's my little shout out to Chip Cheese in there. Strut pumping. Alright, here we go. Elevator fight. So, the movement of the guys in the elevator is entirely dependent on where you move at the start of the fight. So the squad movement depends. So I go to the up right, I go up right here, and it actually lines up all the enemies perfectly, so I could just break their necks instantly. They all line up like lambs to slaughter. I love that strat so much.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen that. That was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it's actually it got to the point where for all three of those, I was able to grab the next enemy on the very next frame after I had canceled out of the next snapping animation. And I only had to move out of the way for the fourth enemy. So, for those of you who saw my 2012 TAS, you may remember that I used Stinger missiles a lot against Sniper Wolf 2. I only use one stinger here, and that's because I have a special strategy for the other elevator ambush in this game. But we'll get to that later. For now, I'm going to use one stinger against Wolf and just use PSG-1 for the rest of it. And you can actually change the position by unequipping the scope and re-equipping it like that. Because the arena is large enough, unlike in the first fight, the arena is large enough that when you don't have the sniper rifle equipped, she is actually out of your draw distance, and the game only draws her scope, or her laser sight. So sure, her character model doesn't exist when you're not actually having the sniper rifle out. So the game changes her position, gives her a brand new position when you have the sniper rifle out. So I was able to luck manipulate her position that way. Alright, on to Disc 2, and another one of my favorite new strategies is coming up in this next room. I'm very excited. So what do you think of the run so far?
Pretty good. Like I said, there's some new stuff I never saw before. And not really like speedrun-wise stuff, but the things like Mill's light bursts, I actually never knew about that.
Well, here's some new stuff you have seen. Again, throwing a grenade at the crane, which makes this canon with Metal Gear Solid 4 now.
Yeah.
And I had to snipe those two guards, otherwise they would have heard me throw the grenade. That explosion always causes an alert if you throw the grenade. Or if you throw any explosive, really. It always causes an instant alert. And just for fun, I threw a grenade 1 frame away from actually throwing it, but it didn't actually take it away from my inventory. That was just a fun little thing. So I exit and re-enter the room, and that skips an animation where the elevator rises up from the ground. Or the bottomless pit. That saves, like, what, 3 or 4 seconds? Alright, so
sure.
DrixQ found this strategy. Don't blink, because you might miss it. That takes 2 seconds when you remove the menuing. It's not doable at any percent because the stinger is still glitched, so we're not able to use it, but DrixQ gave me the idea for that. He had an RTA strategy for that, and I just took it and optimized it to its logical conclusion. So
yeah, that was just not too recently,
that was very
wasn't it?
that was found like less than 2 months ago.
It's probably one of my favorite strats.
That is my favorite TAS strat in either TAS, really. So we've already seen the best of it. You can all go home now. It's all downhill from here.
Although we recommend you don't.
Yeah, please don't go away. There's more work to be done. Yeah, if there's one sort of thing I'm kind of disappointed about this task is that I kind of ran out of ideas about entertainment, especially with the elevators. Although I am kind of happy with how the hot room turned out, which you haven't seen yet. So I'm pretty pumped to see what you think of the hot room. But again, more playing around with grenades, and I was 1 frame away from blowing myself up there. And I still have 4 grenades in my inventory, even with cooking that. Again, this game's inventory system is weird. Alright, so then we have Vulcan Raven. You want to explain how the stun lock works?
The stun lock for this?
For Raven.
Okay. I'm not sure entirely how it works, but basically, you get Raven around, like, this basically container here, and if he's not in, like, your line of sight, basically, he can't shoot you. The, like, Nikita will make it around his, line of fire, if you line it up pretty much properly, because he's trying to shoot you around the corner, and it's pretty much, like, off focus from the Nikita missile, so he can't really get to you, because he's trying to shoot, basically, at you, or near the Nikita, and he's not moving, so you can pretty much just shoot him repeatedly on spot if you guide the Nikita properly to
Yeah, he also can't shoot anything during his invincibility period, which is why you can clearly see that there are bullets going right through the Nikita, which should have shot it down.
Yeah.
But it didn't, because when he has iframes, apparently you are also invincible as well as him. Go away, Miller. It's totally Master Miller. And is in no way Cam Clark putting on a ridiculous accent. Also, I eventually added some emotes from the codec conversations, or the portraits of the codec conversations as my emotes. So this room is my hell. Not necessarily going forward, but going backward. Because of lag management. You'll see what I mean in a second, but the gun turrets are the worst part. Again, it's not something that RTA players really think about, but if you have too many of the gun cameras firing at you at once, it causes lag. But if there's just enough, it won't cause lag. So I had to sort of manage my angling so that I was able to cut corners just enough to have enough cameras firing on me that it wasn't causing lag, but not too many that it did. And it was awful. So awful. Yeah, it was not a fun experience. Thankfully, I only had to do the room twice, but it was not fun either way. Also, on that particular section there, climbing up onto Rex, you cannot take a perfectly straight angle. You have to go at, I think it was an Y angle of 119 degrees, I think is the straightest angle you can make it. Memory serves. So I did that part I did that part of backtracking pretty recently. Okay, so this is a trick called skating, which is you unequipping and re-equipping your item in order to walk on grates silently, because you don't actually put your foot down, so the game doesn't register a sound and the guard doesn't hear you as a result. And I manipulated it so that I only had to skate a certain number of times in order to get it through. So that's there's also a slightly new strategy, which I'm not sure if you've seen my new strategy for saving a bit of skating time, because skating is slower than running with a weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't apply to this one, but once we not this section here. It's after this. Once we've gotten the PAL card back, you'll see that I have a new strategy for skating when going backwards, which we've put in the neutral key card. So this is another homage to Metal Gear 2. Metal Gear 2 also had cards that were changed based on temperature. Basically, before Metal Gear Solid 2 made it cool to homage its predecessor, Metal Gear Solid 1 was already doing it. So, for the rat, its position changes based on what frame you enter the map. So, I just luck manipulated that, and then I throw a grenade to kill the rat pretty much right away. There we go. Much faster than using the stinger.
I'm trying to remember what causes the PAL key to either not be in the rat or be out of it. Isn't it always in the rat?
It's always in the rat, yeah.
Okay.
It's just the rat's position that changes. It can be in one of 3 or 4 spots, I think. And thank God the rat doesn't count towards your kills. That'd be so annoying if that was the case. So yeah, this is pretty much the nadir of the game in terms of backtracking.
Yeah. Trust me, we tried a lot to find a way to make a shortcut at this part or skip some of the PAL key sequences, but it just does not look doable due to the game's programming. Sadly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to do more skating than usual in that section just because the guard was in a different spot. And that's also the case in 80%. It's just because of, I guess the guard spawns differently when you have the neutral key in. Okay, so here is where I have a different strategy for saving some skating time here, which I'm not sure whether you've seen or not.
I don't think I have.
So, in this case, I wait for the guard, and then I deliberately let him hear me there, and then I just have to skate a little bit on that section.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. How much does that save?
I think it saves about a second, something like that.
Oh wow, a full second.
Basically, he ends up temporarily deaf, just from being alerted to the initial noise, and then I only have to skate for a little bit so that he doesn't hear me again, and then he ends up being deaf again from going back to his post.
Momentary
deafness is something that happens a lot for the AI in this game, and momentary blindness as well, even on extreme difficulty.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Usually, basically, whenever they have the blue exclamation marks or the blue question marks, they're usually deaf and blind. Not always, but usually.
Does this apply to real life?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Okay, so here's what I was talking about with the gun cameras. That didn't cause any lag. I had to manage my running angle there to have just enough cameras firing at me that it didn't cause lag. It was so awful. You have no idea. So there is an out of bounds, like we were mentioning before, that Magnum found. It was the very first one he found, but it seems as though the ledge clipping that made this trick possible was patched in the integral version. And both Magnum and I are very disappointed that it doesn't work in this game.
Yeah, I actually don't know why, but earlier when you first asked me about it, I got confused with the hot room. I meant to say the hot room OOB was the very first OOB I found. This was actually the very last OOB I found. So yeah, this is pretty much the very last, pretty much major glitch I found in the game before I stopped glitch hunting it. So I have fond memories with it, so it's a shame that it was pretty much patched. Was Integral released before or after?
Integral was released out. This was the re-release. This was the Japanese re-release that was it was released in 1999 it was Metal Gear Solid 1 came out in 98. Integral was in 99, and then the PC version that had all of the extra content from Integral was released in 2000.
So it makes sense then that I would have time to
they didn't patch that much though. They only patched like small things, and thankfully it seems that the ledge clipping was like one of the only meaningful things they patched.
Yeah, another notable thing about the PC version, I wonder if they actually patched ledge clipping the PC version. Because if so, then PC would be the pretty much most solid version.
Yeah, the only big advantage that PC has is the ability to entirely skip codec conversations.
Because PC though, in the any percent version, where you would normally do the comm tower B out of bounds to skip past the hind and make it to wolf earlier, and then later you come back up to get the stinger. In the PC version, actually, the elevator doesn't fix itself after the wolf fight. You're stuck, so you can't actually glitch the game that way. So I'm wondering if PC version also has ledge clip patch, because if so, that's a pretty unbreakable version of the game. Because otherwise, without those two, well, you don't really need ledge clipping, but if the elevator was fixable, PC version, I believe, would be the fastest version of this game.
Yeah, well, I don't think that a game like that would be runnable in Hourglass, even if I could TAS it. But also, I mean, just on a general note, the PC version kind of didn't really know how to translate the Psycho Mantis gimmick onto PC. The way they did it was that Psycho Mantis could read a controller, so you'd have to beat it with keyboard and mouse. But since most PC gamers would use a keyboard and mouse already, they'd fight him and be able to kill him right away without really knowing what they did right.
So yeah, this is
Yeah,
fun.
this is high quality entertainment. Anyway, I'm very excited for you to see the hot room because it's basically a logical extension to what I did in the 2012 TAS with the hot room. The 80% TAS had the out of bounds in it, but this doesn't. This is something better. Yeah, I found a slightly faster version of that with the chaff grenade, but because I needed one chaff grenade left over to save menu time, I didn't use it on the other one because I needed one chaff left over. This was also a very annoying area to get angles with, especially with the computer over there. I chose this camera angle because I hadn't really shown it off in an elevator play around before, and I like the lighting of it. Alright, are you excited for the hot room? I know I am. I can hear the excitement in your voice.
I'm just excited to see Liquid Miller again.
Oh yeah, the liquid fight is going to be a little different. I took a speed entertainment trade-off on Liquid to show off something I found. I kind of talked to you about it on Skype, but I didn't really say what it was. I'm also excited to see your reaction for that. So basically everything from here on in is mostly blind. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that MGS1 kind of loses momentum at this point, because, I mean, everything else in the game has been excellent so far.
Oh yeah. In here it just kind of falls flat for a good 15-minute chunk.
Yeah, and at this point, again, I pretty much ran out of entertainment ideas, and I was in a fair amount of pain at that point, and I just wanted to make sure that, you know, I just got the run finished and focus on frame optimization and, of course, on entertainment in the hot room. Alright, here we go. Entertainment. So for those of you who saw my 2012 TAS, you'll remember I had some fun with the guards, so I decided why not do that again. But we gotta escalate it, because it's been 4 years, so we gotta do something a little more interesting. So here we go. Let's bring our buddy down here and have some fun. Oh no, what was that?
What? How did he not see
He was blinded.
you?
He was blinded by the question mark, and he turned to the right in order to go back to his post. So I was on his blind side. I just love this so much. The fact that there's a blind corner here, right at this point, because this is out of this patrol route. You're not supposed to be able to get through here.
Yeah.
But I'm not done yet.
That's okay. Okay, almost perfect timing to just run straight through the door.
Oh, I love that so much. I think I successfully escalated what I did in my 2012 TAS. Alright, so now one last bit of backtracking, and then we can get to Metal Gear Rex. Now, unfortunately, so I mentioned in my Metal Gear Rex commentary for the text commentary for 80% that you want to avoid the missile attack, although the way that I'm positioned, because I have to pick up extra Stinger ammo, because I need I only have 15 Stinger ammo at this point, and I need 17 shots, I think 18 shots. So I kind of go out of my way. I have to go out of my way to grab it, and I'm at a point where he initiates his missile attack right away. So I end up losing some time over that, in compared to 80%, but aside from that, they're more or less the same in terms of frames. Although I try to end up in different positions just to make it a little more interesting.
So is this the last time I'll be seeing these crows?
I think so, yeah.
Farewell, crows.
Oh yeah, this particular codec screen, I remember I had Naomi has some very unusual portrait animations, which always would throw off my timing when I was trying to get the optimal frame for that. Like that head shake in particular was she has like several different variations on it, which come up at different points. Like right there, that is a slightly different length than the other head shaking animation. It was just
it's so ridiculous.
If you didn't hate Naomi by playing the game normally, you'll hate her a lot more by just trying to mash through the codec sequences and not knowing how to get through.
Well, don't worry, you also get to wait for her to like sniff and cry for about 10 years.
That one actually has like a relative visual cue as to when it ends, though. The head shaking, she like fakes you out several times, and then it changes her timing again the second time she does it. So it's oh yeah, there's guards here. By the way, I recently found that you can stay in the cold area as long as you want, and even on extreme, you will never freeze the key if you've already warmed it up. It will always remain hot, which I think is really cool. No pun intended, but I think it's really neat that, you know, the developers at least went out of the way to make sure that you wouldn't have to backtrack all the way over again if you found yourself stuck in the cold room for a bit.
I wonder if that's actually different in other versions of the game, like it will unhot.
I don't know if that's the case in the USA version, but at least on Integral, they made it so that once you've heated up the key, it will never freeze if you stay in the cold room. All right, last bit of skating over here. I just love how little skating there is, especially compared to like an RTA, where you're basically like skating the whole way, and it's so easy to accidentally trigger an alert by mistiming your skates.
Alright, so now we have to talk to who again?
Oh, this is clearly Miller. Look at him.
Whoever he is, I like his sunglasses.
He's got nice sunglasses. Oh wait, he took his sunglasses off. Oh no, it's liquid! Ah! Alright, Otacon, get us out of here.
Save us with your anime.
I'm sure there is a gas-based anime that will help us.
Maybe there isn't. Okay, there is.
There totally is. Yeah.
Liquid!
I love that little, like, pizzicato sting over there. Alright, so here we go. This is Metal Gear Rex. Because I mentioned before about about him doing his missile attack, this does end up being... The first phase of the fight ends up being a little slower than at 80%, because you have to kind of go out of your way to grab the extra stinger ammo. But everything else is good, so... Yeah, that's like maybe like a 10 frame time loss, I think it is. Something like that, but it's... Everything else is fine. And that missile attack doesn't matter. By the way, those missiles are cheating bastards, I gotta say. Because I was mentioning before, I don't forget if I mentioned it before in our Skype chat, but they if the missiles can curve behind you, Like, they have a clear trajectory, but if you are in a certain position and you go into first person, they will teleport directly above your head and explode right above you. Like, if you go into first person in a specific spot.
First, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that's like... That's like the worst, probably the worst thing about the missile attack, is the way that their trajectory can cheat on you. Like that right there, I had to wait to a certain position where those particular missiles could teleport on, and just teleport on you. And there we go. And thank God, on Integral we could skip Liquid's monologue. That is probably the best thing about the Integral version. Even more than the analog controls, even more than everything else, being able to skip Liquid's monologue. Okay, so here we go. This fight is 0.6 seconds slower than on the 80% version. And there's a specific reason for this. I found a very unusual quirk with Liquid's hitbox when I was optimizing this fight, and I wanted to show it off. So I figured it was worth the 0.6 seconds lost, and I think that you will find this very interesting. I'm not going to spoil exactly what it is, but I would like to hear your reaction as to what it is. It should become fairly obvious once we actually get into the fight, but yeah, I think it adds to Liquid's dramatic persona.
Win, you might still be able to save her. You could enjoy one brief moment of love before the end. If you cross this line, you fall. At this height, it will kill
But not me, for some reason. Alright, here we go. Look at this.
Plural Liquid. Nice shots.
I think maybe like 6 of those punches actually hit him. I mean, look at that. That was just ridiculous.
Speaking of 6, 2 of 6.6.
Yeah, that is why I decided to also this. But yeah, I deliberately took that time because I thought it was hilarious that it was Liquid was reacting to those shots that were clearly not hitting him at all. Also, I had no idea that you could actually get into the Jeep from the other side. Did you know that?
I didn't. I never tested it, though. Now I know.
You're learning things. We had this running joke going in our Skype chat that I kept like finding things that I thought were like revolutionary. They were all things that Magnum had already found at some point, and Thrillers had found. And now it's like there are things that are like all these little things that that Magnum never knew about the game. So finally, I found something you didn't know.
My favorite one is still Meryl's lifing upgraded. I literally never knew that. I still find that fascinating. Yeah,
so I had said in the 80% TAS that not taking damage here is a little faster. And it actually ends up not mattering that much. And at this point, I was still in a lot of pain. I wanted to get this over with. I was having a lot of trouble replicating it. It ended up not... I think it was within a couple of frames, anyway, of this. Just because I'd done a lot of damage to the enemy on the right anyway, so... Anyway. But yeah, it is technically possible to do a no-damage run up until Liquid's cheap. Liquid will get cheap shots on you no matter what you do.
Yeah, it's literally impossible.
I think it's theoretically you can limit it to like 2 or 3 shots, but in this case it actually ended up being faster to trade shots. Although in this case I actually found this is something I found later, that you can double shoot him like this. This was something I found after the 80% TAS was finished. Again, those particular shots I had to fire those off. Otherwise, the trick wouldn't work. Aside from that, I deliberately have 100% accuracy the rest of the time. And we're almost at the... we can almost see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, I also kind of like that at the beginning of the Jeep chase that those initial 3 enemies were all like clipping inside each other. And now you can sort of group them together. And if I had been going purely for like fastest input movie, the movie would have ended on that last shot there. But there's like an extra cutscene, just extra few cutscenes to skip, the codec, and there's a final cutscene to skip after the end of the credits.
And this is the final codec
Yep.
of the game. I'm actually gonna time this, how long Naomi cries for.
Alright.
So unbelievably long.
I mentally timed
It's
7.5 seconds, but
Yeah, it's like come on, game, is that really necessary?
alright, well, that brings us to the end of the part of the TAS that actually matters, because the credits go on for quite a while.
They give you like no time to read this, if I remember correctly. Like, I used to have like an ongoing gag when I played and glitched on this game. Like, I tried to read those ending messages as fast as possible, and I still can't even get them off. They seem to stay up longer there in Untabled. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe, but anyway, that's the run. That is Metal Gear Solid Integral All Bosses. The input goes on for another 5 minutes, and that's because there's another cutscene to skip at the end of this run, or at the end of the credits. Also interesting to note that everyone in this game, all of the voice cast except for David Hayter, is using pseudonyms for some bizarre reason. I still don't know why. So I've got quite a few people to thank. First of all, Magnum, obviously, for finding a lot of the stuff that I use in this run. Kojima and regrettably Konami for making the series. And MG Slade, everyone in the Metal Gear Discord channel for putting up with me. Everyone in TAS Videos, Spike Stuff, obviously, for putting up with me, and he's probably still working on the stupid subtitles for 80% as we speak. There's probably a lot of other people I'd like, probably a lot of other people I ought to thank, but I'm just blanking out right now.
Well, if you want, you can thank every
Yes,
single
I would like
individual
to thank everyone who's being mentioned right now, especially the people in the movie unit. Yeah, everyone whose work I skipped. You were all very valuable individuals whose work I will never see. It's worth mentioning that the credits actually go a little faster in this version, because the length of it still plays over the length of the song, but there's extra credits for the extra content in the VR missions, so the extra content integral, the VR missions, and the Pocket Station minigame. So the credits actually scroll a little faster on integral than they do in the US version, because they have to put in more room into the credits. Also, that walrus is very cute. I have yet to sit down and calculate exactly how much time I could have saved if I was using the old loading times. I think I might have been able to bring this down to a 124 or a 125 if I were using the previous emulators loading times, but I'll probably have to do that at some point. So what is Actboy Space Reptex Yamada-kun? What are all these things? They're like prototype demo cutscenes or something?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I guess, but oh yeah, I totally forgot that the guy who played Ocelot was also the guy who did the voice direction. Oh come on, package unit? Really? Look at how many. Look
We
at how
wouldn't
many.
be anywhere. We wouldn't be
We had
anywhere
like
without
4 or
the
5
packaging,
people devoted just to like the concept, the concept work for the title, for like the for just like the title screen, or not the title screen. So here we go. Here's the extra credits: the integral version unit and the VR mission stuff. Apparently, yeah, VR training mode. Apparently, Hideo Kojima and somebody else voiced the soldiers. Did the voices for the soldiers in. Like you'll see in a second. Here we go. Yeah, Ryoji Nakamura and Hideo Kojima voiced the GM soldiers, which is odd because I've played the VR missions integral version, and they seem to use the same voice clips as in the normal game. Like the Disc 3, they seem to use the same clips. I don't know why they have it, but
So are you trying to tell me the credits
I'm
are
just
lying
confused.
to us right now?
I don't know why they were. Maybe there's something else. Like maybe Kojima voiced like Genola and they were slowing it down or something. But I'm more intrigued than anything because I don't know what they were going with. Yeah, I remember there's some really weird instruments that they have listed in the the bouzouki. Oh, that's it. I thought there were some more intriguing Gaelic instruments that they had listed here. Anyway, any ideas on what you think the final time might be for in-game? That is. What do you
For
think?
in-game, yes, because clearly
Yeah.
I can see the other time in the title. It's been a while. I remember there used to be like a certain discrepancy, like a certain amount of time difference between real-time and in-game, but it's been a while, so I can't remember the exact amount. If I had to guess, you were very happy about it. I remember that. I might as well just wait. Don't want to make a fool of myself by making some outlandish guess that's completely off. So I'll just wait and see.
Alright, well, we got one last little cutscene, and right about there is where the input ends. Skipping the last little cutscene involving dog sleds. Now we've got our stinger with Ocelot and one of the adults from the Peanuts cartoons. Wah, 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 wah.
Yes, sir. Fox guy should be coming back to me here soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead ticket. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the dog that she flagged. It's been disposed of. Yes. Thank you. Bye.
I am shocked.
Mind blown. Alright, here we go. Final time.
Okay, I'll throw it a
Nope.
guess. 135.10.
127.33.
127. Okay, not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting so 130.
Yeah, well,
but
it is gonna be. It does end up slower, or it does end up faster than than Time for Power On. So, yeah, sub 130 is definitely. I mean, I could have gotten 125 pretty easily with that. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure, and I will see
Yep.
you all later. I've got a couple plans as to what I might do next. Anyway, take care, guys. Thank you for listening to the commentary and enduring us.